Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today we're going to be talking about OCUGN. We did talk about OCGN before, but today we're going to be bringing new pieces of due diligence, technical analysis, and what I think about this one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this one. My last video is in the description below if you want to check that one out. But going over the latest news, we do have quite a few. So first off, if you have never heard about them, they're a company with an extensive pipeline with OCU400, OCU410, OCU200, and Covaxin. Now, the biggest thing relating towards this one and all the buzz relating towards this one is merely towards the Bharat Biotech co-developed Covaxin vaccine. That is the main basically talk of the town relating to this stock. And basically the relations towards this one is that they are trying to introduce it to Canada and to the US. And there's a lot of news relating towards this one. First off, let's take a quick look into their presentation. So for OCGN, they have an extensive chair members and directors on here from places like Pfizer, Colgate, and other places like EY, GM, and Neuron. Now, the main thing I do want to take a look at is the vaccine development itself, relating towards pipeline and regulatory overview, in addition towards their pipeline as well. So the Covaxin, which is a whole viral inactivated virus relating towards COVID-19, is in phase 3 and is rolling submission initiated to Health Canada on July 2021, and discussions with FDA is ongoing. So the modifier gene therapy platform OCU400 relating towards all these different mutations, you're able to see that orphan and designation is in the US and EU. Relating towards OCU410, you're able to see that the dry age related macular degeneration is preclinical, versus the other ones on OCU400 that are IND enabled. Now, in terms of the novel biological towards OCU200, they're all preclinical. Now, in terms of, again, towards Covaxin, there's a lot of different things relating towards Covaxin and their protection against variants. This presentation does a good job talking about that. Basically, you have a proposed indication, which is the active immunization to prevent COVID-19 caused by SARS-CoV-2, target population, which is 12 years and older, dose level and regimen around 0.5 milliliter per dose suspension with 2 doses, one at day 0 and one at day 28, and presentation, which is 2 doses per vial, around 2 to 8 degrees Celsius with an expected shelf life of around 2 years and a room temperature of around 3 months. So you get to see that their efficacy is around 77.8% efficacy demonstrated in phase 3 trial, with 93.4% against severe infections. And you get to see as well that they are safe for 12 years and above, and their storage is between 2 and 8 degrees Celsius. In relation towards Covaxin, they basically have an entire adjudicated inactive virus vaccine that has different spikes, nucleoplastids, membrane, small membrane protein, compared to mRNA vaccines, which is basically just the spike proteins on itself. So there is different technologies relating towards this one, even when you're looking towards AstraZeneca. So AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson have non-replicating infectious adenovirus or adenovirus. Meanwhile, Covaxin is an inactivated SARS-CoV-2 virus with aluminum hydroxide TLR agonists. So they're basically whole virus including S and N protein, meanwhile the other ones focus on the S protein. Now, in relations to Covaxin, basically relating towards both adeno-based, which is AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson, and mRNA, which is very similar to Pfizer and Moderna, you're seeing that the big differences here is that they have stability at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius with multiple viral antigens. That seems that no vaccine actually has this multiple viral antigens, at least based on OCGN's report. And you get to see here that currently they do have phase 3 data analysis completed, with rolling submissions initiated with Health Canada, BLA submissions to be pursued in the US, discussions ongoing to determine the filing pathway, and initial US supply from partners BBIL, and executive tech transfer to US sites with targeted 100 million doses starting 2021. So the clock is really ticking towards this one. Now, they really say that they have established Covaxin manufacturing in the US even before phase 3 results, with rolling submission initiated into Health Canada. And in terms of the final phase 3 clinical trial results demonstrating to protect effect on Covaxin, you're able to see that the overall viral vaccine efficacy is around 77.8% with 95% confidence rate or interval, and efficacy against severe diseases is around 93.4% with a confidence interval of around 95%, and efficacy against asymptomatic diseases is around 63.6%, and safety outcome is around 12.4%, and again demonstrating efficacy against the Delta variant around 65.2%. So the Delta variant efficacy seems to be somewhat similar to as well mRNA from my understanding, at least from the reports I've read. There's a lot of different reports out there and studies that really will show you a different percentage, but because these are also real life experiments. In terms of phase 3 studies, you're able to see multiple different data on here, but the most important one here is their efficacy in relating to the India Kappa variant, the United Kingdom Alpha variant, and the Brazil Zeta variant. So we're able to see all that stuff, and then they go on towards nature gene therapies with OCU400, and I think that a lot of people watching this one aren't as interested with developments with that one compared to the Covaxin and the Bharat Biotech partnership. So in relation to this one, key inflection points: Covaxin, which is a vaccine candidate for the US and the Canadian markets with potential for revenue this year. And you got ophthalmology, which is a modifier gene therapy platform, has the potential for one product to treat many diseases, with novel biological has the potential to treat anti-VEGF, corticosteroids non-responders with 50% of the patients, with multiple near and midterm milestones, with plan to initiate 4 phase 1/2 trials over the next 18 months. So that's definitely a bold vision on there. And some of the latest news, it's been very quiet in July, but back into June 29th, 2021, Ocugen developed with NIH funding enhances efficacy of India's COVID-19 vaccine, with Marshall Plan meets moonshots makes the US humanity COVID-19 vaccine cabinet, and OCUN shares continue to ride the COVID wave with Bharat Biotech all the way back in May. Now, in relations towards the latest news, but before moving on towards there, if you would like to see more contents like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right corner and turn on the bell notification button. Also, don't forget to drop a like to this video. If you would like to discuss different stocks as well, you can join our Discord that is totally free in the description below. We're not trying to upsell you on anything. Once you're on there, head to the trading floor. Now, in terms of the latest news, you're able to see here Bharat Biotech dossier under review for Covaxin emergency use listing under the United Nations. The next one here is relating towards the Canada and them seeking approval in Canada. We already know about that with regulatory filings. And now towards as well some of the SEC filings. So this is again talking about Canada, or actually talking about the initiation of rolling submissions to Health Canada to Covaxin. They're also talking about the efficacy and efficacy against Delta variant that we did talk about in the presentation. And in terms of institutional buyers, Leham, this company here, Leham and DeFriello Financial Resources LLC, added around 21,000 shares. And in general, it's mixed in the month of July. Cutler Group, for instance, has a call, a put, and also liquidated 20% of their shares. And you're able to see the Turbox Family Office liquidated their shares, but Golden Green Incorporations added around 36,000 shares, and Pacifica Partners added around 2,000 shares. And it's a bit of a mix here and there in July and June, but it seems to be more bullish than bearish. And in relations towards insiders, one of the insiders here exercised some shares and sold them up in July, 16th of July to be specific. But that's nothing surprising. Some of these people exercise and sell their shares. There's nothing surprising or dangerous about that. In terms of the short volume, we get to see that the short available shares are around 750,000 currently, at a percentage of borrow rate of around almost 930%. And you're seeing that the volume ratio is sitting somewhere closer to 35 to 40%, which could be higher. Now, it's different than the short float, which is around 26%, but you get to see that shorting activity has been quite high for this one. let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, on the 1 month, 1 day perspective, things are looking interesting. First off, on the moving averages, the 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA, making it a bullish indicator, but the 30 SMA is above the 10 SMA, being bearish, but the price point seen a massive bullish kicker today at around 13%. The ADX doesn't show much of a trend, but the William percent R is showing that it's very close to being overbought. The William percent R is similar to the relative strength index, also known as RSI, and the MACD is reversing towards the bullish side, towards a bullish movement, and momentum is climbing very close to zero. It's currently on the negative side, and that's a very, very bullish reversal indication. On the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, both are showing that there is very likely another leg up for this one. And on the moving average bands, this one is expected to trade around 821 at the top and 672 in the bottom. The Bollinger bands, which is very similar, also momentum volume bands, are expected to trade at 873 in the top and 620 in the bottom. In terms of the Fibonacci retracements, and the reason why I'm using this one is because high frequency traders use it, so might as well you get to know it as well. On the support levels, which was a very strong resistance, we have the 733. Below there, 462. Above there on the resistances, we have 952, 1170, 1482, and 1878. In terms of a price line action, we're seeing a very strong support sitting closer towards the 753. Below there, 680. Below there, down to 643 and 604, going down to 522, 382, 306, and 239. Now on the resistances part, you're seeing a very strong resistance at the 767, up to the 829, up to the 952, going up higher to the 1104, and then up to the 1382 and 1587, up to around almost $19. Analyst recommendations, the last one was 14 days ago. They gave it a price target of $6 with a position of hold. This one here, this person's success rate is 41% and an average return of around 16%. And the person last month from HC Wainwright, they reiterated a buy at $10. This person's success rate is 46% with an average return of around 29%. Another one last month was 450 price target, and this one was given a hold position with a success rate of 45% and an average return of 22%. And what do you think about this one? Well, I still remain bullish about the Bharat Biotech developments, but I think it's a bit too late in the game. And the only way I see this one to be extremely profitable is if we get the different variants that Pfizer and Moderna and other vaccines will basically not be able to cover, and this one somehow covers it. So there is a possibility, but it's a really grim possibility to try to go bullish based on destruction of all our progress relating to previous vaccines. So for that, I remain very hesitant about investing into this one any further, just because of relations towards where they are right now. If you look into Canada and the US, Canada has at least one dose to almost 80% of all the eligible above 12 and above. So 80%, they're trying to target 20%, and a majority of these 20% are people who aren't confident in vaccines to start with. And in the US, you have a similar case. The people who wanted to get the vaccines already have gotten it. The ones you have left are people who are, have heard from certain news outlets that the vaccines are BS. And so really, how are you trying to convince them with, instead of a vaccine that probably was developed, well, it is developed in the US or whatnot, with a vaccine from Asia, from India, for instance, with Bharat Biotech. So it really comes in as a bit of a complicated dilemma in that sense, and I do think that it's almost too late in the game to be really profitable. But the news anyway, you're playing the news, and when the news comes in relating towards the Canadian approval, it probably will spike and then tank right after, just because it's buy the rumor, sell the news kind of aspect. What do you think about this sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day. Now, if you're still here on this video, make sure to drop down below and join our Discord. We have a lot of different things going on, including, for instance, members that gives picks for free. It's not pump and dumps, we just things we think about, swings, etc. We also have really exciting bots. You can actually use those ones. For instance, we're just testing out this bot, for instance, that gives you Fibonacci resistance points, activities, etc. And we have a bunch of free things, totally free. We run on tips here, and you can ask me questions, suggest stocks, etc. It's a really nice community that has been growing up very fast at a very good rate, and it's totally free. If you would like to join that one, feel free to do so in the description below, and have a wonderful day.